What's going on, people? I hope everybody is cool. So, I wanted to hop on here real quick, man, and respond to a video posted by Phillip Scott on his African Diaspora News channel. Now, before I begin, shout out to Phillip Scott. I've been familiar with him for a long time and definitely agree with some of his commentary. But on this particular video, I do not agree. And I'm going to explain why. Now, on this video that Phillip Scott posted, which is what I'm about to react to, on this video, he was talking about Maxine Waters and other members of Congress who went down to the Department of Education and had the little confrontation with the security down there. Okay, now Phillip Scott made some commentary on this, and I think he was off base. I think he was incorrect, and I think a lot of people are going to be misguided by what he said. Okay, if you can listen and you're not in your feelings, stick around. Oh, definitely if you have a child who wants to go to college. If you have a child who wants to go to college, okay, you may want to stick around for this video, because if you're FBA, you're Black American, you probably rock with Phillip Scott. That's cool. So do I. But if you have a child that wants to pursue higher education and they have to go to college for something that requires a degree, you may want to stick around for this video. Without further ado, let's dive into it.
Well, tonight in the podcast, ladies and gentlemen, boy, they had some drama at the Department of Education today. I don't know if you heard, but they had 20 members of Congress went up to the Department of Education. Now, of course, Elon Musk and Doge is starting to comb the books of the Department of Education. Remember, the Democrats did not like that they was going through the Department of Treasury as well and checking the numbers and checking the books there. The Democrats are really mad. And it makes me think that they're going to find something that they have been up to, because I really believe a lot of money laundering has been going on with a lot of these government agencies to a lot of politicians. Let's go ahead and check this out.
Who are you protecting?
It's members of the people's
So this is the beginning of full transparency of this administration. Right. The administration that talked about they're going to open the doors to all of these things and show the American public what is going on. They won't even open the door to this building, to members of Congress. We are not posing any threat here. We are not dangerous people. We have not done anything. We're trying to request a meeting, and they have a private security contractor.
Do you want to discover how I got over 1 million subscribers on YouTube without ever even showing my face or stepping
to request a meeting, and they have a private security contractor who on his own is making decisions on behalf of the Department of Education.
We are members of Congress at the all-access. They allow billionaires and his minions to come in.
I don't know who he is. I don't know who he is, but I know who I am. And I'm a member of Congress with oversight responsibilities trying to request a meeting, and a private security contractor is not allowing me to enter the building.
Who is he?
This
man here.
We are members of Congress.
Come in.
They're blocking us.
See this man here, who is a federal employee. He told us.
No, he's not.
Are you a federal employee?
No.
Huh?
Yes.
No, he said he's a federal employee. We pay him. We raise money to make sure that we have a Department of Education. Everybody that's hired at the Department of Education are here because we pay for them to be here. He's standing here today, blocking the door, and he can't give us a good reason why he's blocking this door.
Make sure they see right here. All access entrance.
Well, I think it should be clear to parents in the United States, if you want to advocate on behalf of your children, you are not allowed to come into this building where you pay taxes. Parents who have children who are disabled, access is being blocked. You voted for members of Congress to advocate on behalf of your children with disabilities, for young women who have been victims of sexual assault in our classrooms, on our school grounds. Members of OCR are fighting for your children. We are not allowed in the building to talk to them. We are not allowed to advocate on behalf of America's children. America, we have a problem.
Everybody stand back and let the cameras see. They're calling all of these gun-loading people out on us. They're calling them out on us. Look behind this door. Who do you see back there? The doors will open. Do they have guns on them? Do they have guns? Yes. Are they prepared to shoot us? We want in that they're responsible for all of the student loans in this country.
I hear that they want to cut those student loans give them as tax cuts to their billionaire friends.
And are they aware of Title I, where mothers are getting up, going to work for minimum wages, and they cannot afford the education that the billionaires have for their children, and we try to help them by giving money to this kind of person here and the people who work here, including all of the people in this country and those Title I families who need some help, both in urban areas and rural areas, and mothers who can't even afford the child care that they need for their children while they're taking these jobs, making minimum wages. And we're helping them with Title I. And this man is blocking the door. He says he's a federal employee. He won't tell us who gave him permission to do this. All he knows is he's going to stand here and tell the members of Congress who are elected, who vote for the funding for all of them in this building, and for the student loans, and for the Title I families. He's going to tell us that we can't come in and talk with anybody. Is that right?
So you're seeing old Auntie Maxine out there, right? Trying to get into the Department of Education, but I don't see Auntie Maxine advocating for FBAs.
Is it possible to improve our lives
we're gonna skip this ad.
About situations differently? According to
I don't see Auntie Maxine advocating for FBAs, but anytime the Democrats tell her to go do something, just like all them black politicians, they go do exactly what the Democrats say do. Now, we have this Department of Education, but look at the education of black children in this country. A lot of black children are falling behind in these public schools, but yet we got a Department of Education. How does that even happen? If you have a true Department of Education, then they will be involved in this. Now, we know the curriculum for the children actually is in the states. The Department of Education does not do curriculum, but they do push certain things. Like they was upholding all this trans bathroom stuff, all this LGBT and all, just the different things like that, the trans and women's sports, Department of Education, was getting involved in schools saying, no, we're not going to allow that. So, well, you're going to get federal funding cut off. You don't allow that. I'm like, huh? Like cut off federal funding for that. But the Department of Education, and how does that relate to FBAs? It don't relate to us. I never hear in my life, I never say, oh boy, the Department of Education, man, that really helped me today. No, it's never helped any of us. They never educate. We got a Department of Education, but a lot of black children are falling behind. So what's the point of it? That's how I feel about it. I mean, but I want to know.
Okay, let's stop it right there. Let's stop it right there. Now, he said a lot of incorrect things right there. Okay. Now, first and foremost, Phillip Scott, directly to you, I hear you loud and clear when you say that black children are miseducated. You know what? You ain't wrong. OK, the school system has failed black children in a lot of ways. But as you just said, the Department of Education doesn't deal with curriculum. We'll talk about that later. But anyway, black Americans, we have been fed lies about our history, set up for failure in underfunded schools and left behind in a system that was never really built for what you all would say are FBAs. Right. But let me tell you something. Shutting down the Department of Education ain't the solution, okay? Because the Department of Education deals with a lot of other things, all right? If anything, that's like burning down your house because you don't like the furniture. Let me explain to you something. People act like the only thing the Department of Education does is, control about what's being taught in schools. As we know, the Department of Ed does not deal with curriculum. That's false, right? He said the Department of Education doesn't help FBAs. That's false. All right. The Department of Education is also in charge of student loans, Pell Grants, FAFSA, right? The Department of Education who helps millions of poor black kids go to college. What am I talking about? The Department of Education, you shut that down. And guess what? You shut down all of those loans that black children have to use to go to college to pursue a higher education to get that career that requires a degree. What am I talking about? You got black kids out here trying to become nurses, doctors, dental hygienists, lawyers, FBI agents, etc. All of those things require degrees. And you know how those black children afford that schooling if they come from poverty-stricken areas? FAFSA, right? Financial aid, student loan grants. If Trump and Elon Musk shut that down, the Department of Education, what happens to all of those student loans, Pell Grants, etc., that help poor black kids go to school and get that degree, to get that career that requires that degree? Gone, right? Now, I don't want this video to carry on too long. I'm going to go on and dive into it. The numbers don't lie. Right now, only 11% of registered nurses are black. That's about 330,000 black nurses who have to go through school, pass exams, and most likely take out loans from the Department of Education, right? That's according to the National Sample Survey of Registered Nurses. So though you say the Department of Education does not help FBAs, however, the data says 11% of registered nurses are FBAs. That's about 330,000. Okay, so 330,000 FBAs had to take out student loans from the Department of Education. What about black doctors? Only about 5% of all doctors in America are black. That's about 45,000 black doctors. Okay, so though you say the Department of Education does not help black folks, that's about 45,000 black doctors who had to take out student loans to go to college to become a doctor, right? Black dental hygienists, 3.7%, less than 8,000 in the whole country. Still, black FBI agents, only about 4.7%. Got about 635 agents, that are black. Now, what about black lawyers? 5%. Just 65,000 out of 1.3 million lawyers are black. 65,000. Now, that's not a lot, but that's 65,000 black people that depended on the Department of Education for those student loans. Because some of those black lawyers weren't rich when they got into college. They had to take out student loans. Right? Now, let's be real. You think those nurses, doctors, and lawyers came from rich families? Like I just said, no. Most of them had to go through FAFSA, take out federal loans, and get Pell Grants just to make it. These people weren't born with money they had to grind for, but they needed to access that money first. That's where the Department of Education came in. What happens if the Department of Education shuts down? If that department disappears, so does FAFSA. So to all the FBAs who have children that want to become nurses, doctors, lawyers, FBI men, etc., but you can't afford to do that, they're going to have to turn to FAFSA in order to get those funds to go to school to get a higher education. If that goes away, like Phillip Scott just said, he don't care if it goes away, then what's going to happen to those children who want to go to college? What's going to happen to your FBA kids who want to become a nurse? Huh? They'll have to beg for private loans, private lenders, right? With predatory interest rates. No more Pell Grants, right? If you are banking on free money to help with college, too bad. No more work study programs. That means fewer opportunities for students to earn money while in school. Without those loans, how do poor black kids afford school? They don't. They either don't go at all or they drown in all that private loan debt, right? Now, student loan debt is an issue too, which is why I'm naming careers that require degrees: nurses, sonogram, ultrasound technician, dentists, black lawyers, FBI, respiratory personnel, etc. You have a lot of black people who want to get into that field, right? And let's be real, the government, you shut down the Department of Education, the government ain't going to just hand over the loan system to another agency overnight. Stuff takes time. Congress would have to pass laws, figure out a new system. And in the meantime, black kids are trying to go to school, but they can't afford it. So who benefits from this? Rich folks. The ones who don't need student loans. The kids of Donald Trump and Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy and all of them. The same people who can afford to send their kids to private schools and Ivy League colleges without taking out loans. You shut down the Department of Education and you make higher education a luxury instead of an opportunity. Now, I'm not saying the Department of Education is perfect, but they don't just deal with what the stuff Phil was talking about. They are also responsible for the student loans, and black children, some of them have to get student loans in order to pursue higher education. The Department of Education is far from perfect, but shutting it down would hurt black children who want to pursue higher education. Think about this. If a young black kid wants to be a doctor, lawyer, or a nurse, or FBI man, or respiratory personnel, who does that black child have to contact first if they are not rich, not wealthy? They have to contact FAFSA, the Department of Education. You kill the Department of Education and you kill FAFSA. Phil, before we jump on the just shut it down, well, what about the education, the black children? Let's just get it. I don't get nothing about it. Just do away with it. I hear what you're saying, but those black children who want to go to school, those black children who are not rich, who don't have the money to go to school like that, who have to contact FAFSA, they care. They care. Right? So let's think about this, man. Let's think about this. Before you shut it all down, think about what it means for black children who want to pursue higher education. And with that being said, man, I leave you all with this. The Bible says in Proverbs 4:7, quote, wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding, unquote. Let's be wise about this. You can't just start talking. Okay, I don't care what they do. Just shut it on down. Shut it on down. Nah, you got to get a little bit more profound than that. You got to get a little bit more deeper than that. Okay, fix the system. You don't destroy the little that you have. All right, fix it, because you shut down the Department of Education and you shut down a lot of education for black children who want to pursue higher education. That nurse, to become that doctor, to become that lawyer, to become that FBI personnel, to become that respiratory person to help you breathe, to become that. Okay? Think instead of just talking. Peace. And listen, man, I want to come back and say this. I'm all for entrepreneurship. If you can ditch college and become an entrepreneur, do that. Do that. If you can ditch the student loan debt that you're going to accumulate from college, do that. Do that. But everybody is not going to do that, which is why when I'm talking about the Department of Education and black children who depend on loans, I'm only talking about careers that require degrees that you have to go to college for. Okay? But if you can start your own company and become a multimillionaire, do that. Do it. I'm all for it. But for the ones who don't want to do that, and they have a dream of becoming something that requires a degree, and they are not wealthy, they're going to have to contact the Department of Education, shut down the Department of Education, and you destroy those black children's dreams. Now, again, this wasn't any disrespect to Phil. I like Phil, rock with Phil, etc. Phil sticks up for black folk. So do I. Okay? So I wanted to come back and make that clear, man. To God be the glory. Jesus Christ is Lord. Peace. And remember, think. We gone.